All right, folks. Let's get started. Kim, I don't know if you would maybe want to go ahead and kind of give us a rundown of what we might need to know when our students start traveling, especially for conferences, fieldwork, et cetera.
Okay, well, I do appreciate the travel guru. That's assuming anyone in the university is a guru with Workday at this point, but I've seen a little bit. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, wrong one. Oh, no, you've got, are you seeing Workday?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So say you're going to travel. Somebody's come up, said, we need you to go wherever. The very first thing you're going to do is get a spend authorization. You're going to do that over here through request travel or purchase. You're going to request pre-approval travel. You cannot do anything until you fill this out and get it approved. Spend authorization, the company's always going to be the Ohio State University, I think, correct, Suzanne? It takes us all to be the guru here. The dates will be your dates of travel, the date you're going to leave, the date you're going to return. I guess we're going to build one and then just delete it later.
I'll just
So
deny it.
We'll just throw some dates in here. The description of your travel. It says a business purpose. It doesn't have the red asterisk, but I would put it in anyway. Let's see what options they give us. I've only done a couple of these. It's been a little bit. You're going to a conference.
There is also research travel in there that you can choose. So it's either going to be conference or research travel.
Only because I know this. And some of you have probably done that. Here, down here is where you're going to add everything you could possibly need to spend money on and either get reimbursed for or like your airfare is going to go through the travel agency and it's going to be paid for by the university card. So your expense item. First, you're going to start with airfare. Everybody's probably going to fly. You're going to put in your amount. If you've looked it up, that's fine. If you haven't, throw in an amount that you think seems appropriate. It already says that. Now, Suzanne, will they fill this in? They should have this from whomever, correct?
They should have, there's going to be a combination of things happening. So all of the funds that are allotted to you are now showing up in your PI summary. And I will show you where to find that once we're done here, which will have all of the information for these work tags there. If you are getting additional funding from, say, your advisor or something like that, or the department like LDAG is paying for that, I will be able to fill those things in addition to your own funds. So in the justification up above, if you could add a comment saying, I will be using my department allotted funds, or my advisor is giving me this amount of money for this conference, I'll be able to distribute that across the spend authorization lines where appropriate.
Here's something I'm not sure of. What is the budget date?
That is just the travel date.
Okay. Because it seemed like maybe it was different. Then you'll go over here on this side. We're gonna put our travel dates in again, if I remember what they were. Yeah, I think it was the 11th.
You chose the 17th.
To return. Class of service, you've got to put anything red asterisk you have to put in. You're going to fly coach economy. Here you have to put a city. It's not always going to be where you're actually going, but where you're going to fly into. Let's see what I can make happen here. Yep. Oh, but we're originating in Columbus. There you go. So Columbus, and then the travel agency is CTP. So here you're going to submit.
I'm gonna send it back.
Oh, I didn't want to submit.
I'm gonna send it back, don't worry.
Okay. Sorry, see, none of us are gurus here. No, I didn't want to submit. I wanted to add more
Right.
lines,
Back.
more expense lines.
Please add.
We'll see how real-time Workday really is.
And this brings up a good point. Once you have submitted a spend authorization, don't assume you're done. Because I know I sent one back to Ahmad a while ago and I haven't seen it again. So there are going to be things that maybe you have forgotten to add, or expenses that need more clarification or something like that. Things are going to come back to you because we can't adjust some things. There are some things I can, but there are also some things I can't. Refresh your page, Kim.
So see, I got an email saying that it was sent back. Here was something else I was going to, thought it was a good time. So here it tells me it's showing me what was sent back. If for some reason you've lost your spend authorization, should we go through this now or just continue with
I would
what we're
wait.
doing?
Yeah, just continue,
Okay.
and then we can go back.
All right, let's get back in here. All right, and then it tells me down here that she sent it back because, well, I hit the wrong button. Okay, here is the add button. Now we're going to add our next expense line. This is going to be, let's find a good one. Airline baggage fees. I don't know what it costs these days. I haven't got to travel in a while. Your work tags.
And honestly, you would just continue adding expenditures until you have either reached the top limit of the amount of money you have to get reimbursed for, or you've covered all of those expenses, whichever one comes first.
So here, this can be tricky too, like we're gonna say 6 days. You have to put the days in. I found this out with someone else. The number of days, approximately what you think it's going to cost per day.
And I would honestly base that on the per diem rates from the government site. like these links over here on your right-hand side says per diem domestic and per diem international. There are hotel rates on there. I would base it on that. That will, I don't believe that opens in a new tab. So I would save for later before you do that.
It's not gonna let me do that because I didn't fill everything in. Okay, so our arrival date is the 11th, or the,
Yep.
I'm just
So-
using the same city because I'm just not that creative. No, didn't let me do that, so it just kicked me out when I did that. So let's go back in and just see what it says.
No, it saved it.
Yeah, it did. Here we go. I just want to see what this does.
Oh, it does open in a new tab. Good
It did
job.
open you in a new,
Good job.
so I don't know this,
This is the government per diem site. Just go ahead and find rates. Yeah, see,
okay, so hey, I was really close.
you were. Nice job.
Do we want to look at the, we don't care international.
No,
Now, would we want to put at per diem rate or anything in here?
I wouldn't. The only issue that this is gonna show. So the funds you're using, when you put in the spend authorization and it's approved, it will encumber them and deduct them from your available total. So when we go into the PI summary later, I'll show you where it will show it's already deducted from your total. So like, think of this as real money you're playing with.
And it'll give you a running total, everything you have over here. Do we want to go further?
Meh, unless anybody has questions so far. All right, I think that's a no. Go ahead.
All right, I'm submitting again. You will put more than just those three things, depending on where you're going, what you're doing,
How much money you have.
how much money you have. If you have enough, you can put a miscellaneous in there. Oh, you also want transportation like cabs or Uber or
Conference
train.
registration, all of the things.
Everything needs to go in there though, for you to be able to expense it later to that spend authorization.
Correct.
Where do we want to go?
Do you guys want to move on to an expense report, or do you want to see where your money is first?
Where's the money first?
Okay. All right. Let me, oh crap, where did you go? All right, let me see if I can share that. All right, can you guys all see my Workday screen?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so that's not you, that's not you. Okay. Right down here on your dashboard is going to be this principal investigator summary. This is going to be where all of your money is. This first link is going to show OSP grants. And Zach, you should have stuff here. I will not because I'm not a PI. But no one else is really gonna see anything in this OSP grants. PIs see it. Zach should see it because he's a PI. But graduate students typically would not. Where you're gonna find your money is right here under this faculty financials. So click that. And it's gonna give you the current period and you just wait down here a little bit for it to load because it's coming. This blue line at the bottom is gonna show you how long it's taking. Which I don't have that much money, so it shouldn't be taking this long. There we go. So this is where it's gonna show in this internal grants and other funding. Because you have departmental money, right? Like those funds were distributed out to you for the remainder of your program. I don't know, last month or early this month. So you will see funds here. And as you can see in my funds, this is my own personal page. I have already used some of them as my professional development money for a membership, which shows my expense here. So my remaining balance is the $457. Yours will also show this. Once you put in a spend authorization, it will show in this encumbrance box right here and deduct from your total and show an exact remaining balance. If you are getting money from your advisor or from a grant to travel, that will not show up here. That will show up on the grant or on your advisor's dashboard. Unless it's transferred to you personally under your assignee tag, you will not see it here. But everything that is assigned to you will be here. Does anybody have any questions about that? Nope. Okay. You're on mute.
Oh, thought I hit that. An expense report on a spend authorization. Now, this is going to be hard to do because my spend authorization isn't approved because we're going to delete it. So I'm going to try really hard to make it make sense. So here you're going to, for an expense report, request an expense reimbursement. This is the page for your expense report. What was I just thinking?
No, Rebecca, you're right. This is the page that you're going to reference if you get stuck or need a refresher, because at the bottom is the travel related expense report. But yeah, like walking through it is going to be real helpful, mostly because the rules have changed a little bit, where you would at the very end of your travel input everything all at once. So you would take all your receipts and you would hand them off and someone would process your travel for you. But that is not the case anymore. You have 60 days after purchase, not after return. So some of you have already purchased your conference registrations. You have 60 days after that purchase to get reimbursement for that and tag it along to the spend authorization. So you have to have the spend authorization in prior to seeking reimbursement for those conference registrations. And there's a hard 60-day limit. So if you have already submitted everything, or if you've already bought your conference registration and have not submitted your spend authorizations yet for a conference that is non-virtual, that is in person, you need to get those spend authorizations in as soon as possible. Because 60 days is not actually that long of a time.
That 60 days does not apply to the airline fare, correct? That's paid for through CTP.
If it is
on-
paid for through CTP, no, because that automatically gets posted to your work list. If they have paid for it themselves on their own credit card, yes, it does apply.
Okay. So when you go in to file an expense report, you're going to go to create new expense report from spend authorization. And you should be able, and you will come over here and your spend authorization is going to show up. Mine's not, because that pretend one we just made isn't going to be approved because we're deleting it.
Pull up
But
Darla's.
that's actually, can you approve it?
No, I don't want to approve it. It's going to encumber those funds and I can't release them.
Because the expense report's going to look a little different.
Pull up Darla's. If you pull up Darla's and we just delete the entry,
I'm about to get attacked by a cat. No, it's fine.
I
Is
got
it
it.
fine?
You want
Is
it? I got it. Just put find spend authorization and let it run. For OSU down there. Me pointing like you can see my cursor.
You didn't even see your face.
I know.
It only allows you to choose the Ohio State University, but it still makes you choose it. What is her status? In
Approved.
progress?
It's approved. It's approved. Yeah, just type in Darla Monroe. You should be good. Just run it. She's only got one offer.
I know, it has something to do with those dates down there. I know it does. And if you hit the back arrow, doesn't help. Just takes you back here. Make sure you choose that company from that big list. I chose her. Go away.
Oh, her departure date is until April.
If you just, when you're searching like this, if you just delete out these dates, makes it easier, especially when you're searching for your own stuff, because those dates are very picky. See, now I've got to do this for worker for me to be able to go in there to her stuff.
Yeah. You just need to copy the spend authorization number.
That's not going to work.
Because why would it work? To be real.
But I've got to do it. I've got to do it for worker.
Well, you need to create the expense report for a worker. Yeah. Which is fine, because it's just, they just need to see how to enter it.
Create expense report from spend authorization. You're going to pull this up. There you're going to find your spend authorization. And then it does look a little different.
There's one thing that has been discovered. It doesn't automatically pull the work tags from your spend authorization. That would be incredibly helpful, but it does not. So you really probably need to have your spend authorization on one screen and your expense report on the other, so that you can copy the work tags from each expense that you are seeking reimbursement for.
And one thing that you will find is when you do create an expense report, it opens into a new window, so you can go back to your last window and find spend authorization and have it pulled up there. Of course, you have to go through everything that we just did, but you can do it that way. So that way you can toggle back and forth between your screens.
The other thing is, as graduate students, you honestly shouldn't have that much stuff in your inbox or your notifications up at the top. You may be able to find it there.
You're doing this spend authorization. Oh, here's something else. Do not click this box. Do not click this box unless you are absolutely certain everything is in. Because you can go back into your spend authorization multiple times and file expense reports. Say you lost a receipt and then you find it. Best case is just never choose this. The travel office right now is kind of waiting it out. And eventually somewhere down the line, they'll see things are done and they're going to go ahead and get rid of them. For us, it's really just don't even do it. Just don't even do it. Because if you find that one last receipt you want to get reimbursed for and you've clicked this box, you're not going to get it. So yeah, find your spend authorization, make sure you have your right work tags here. If something was on a credit card, say for some reason you were to use the department's P card to purchase, say, your registration, probably won't happen, but just in case, that's going to come back to me. I'm going to reassign it to you. It's going to show up here. And you're going to file the expense report on it. So we're going to hit OK. Where's her expense lines?
She had lodging, she had,
Where'd her expense lines go? But they're not showing.
I mean, it's probably because it hasn't happened yet.
No, she built her spend authorization. They should be here. Why am I not seeing it?
Don't you have to add it?
No, I'm doing an expense report for the things that should already be here that were approved on her spend authorization.
Listen. Should, would, could. Listen, this is Workday. We're all feeling our way through it.
Okay, available spend authorization lines. There we go. I thought they were going to show up there.
Well, that would make sense, but no.
Sorry. I'm guessing maybe they show up there once we've expensed them. Okay, so here's what'll happen. I have only done this a couple times, so I'm really not sure. Because I don't want to mess with her airfare. Did she get her airfare yet?
I don't think so.
Okay, so ground transportation. You're going to fill in your receipt. Ugh, I hate doing this because I don't want to screw it up.
We just won't submit it and we'll go in and do it and delete it later.
All right.
Erica just sent us that nifty like email explaining how to do that.
Why is transportation not over here? These expense items make very little sense unless you work in medical.
Go to ground. It's not up there either. Can you search taxi?
I went down to T's for transportation. We have travel incidentals.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking it's gonna have to be. You'll put in your amount that's on your receipt. You've dropped your receipt. Sorry, I'm pointing to. You've dropped your receipt up here. The amount on there. Come on, I can't find the space bar on this laptop. Again, you've got to do your work tags. You probably have to go back here to your spend authorization and to fill them in. Over here. Remember to click receipt included, otherwise it's going to give you an error and not let you go on. And make sure you've included your receipt. And you're going to hit submit. Do you want me to submit it?
No. Because that doesn't come to me. That goes straight to review.
All right,
So
so
you would
then,
just continue to add expenses.
well, then that's going to show up here once you've created the expense report. Then you can come back down here and choose your next one, your lodging, your airfare, your per diem. And as you fill this information out and attach your receipts, that's when they're going to show up over here. I was a little unsure about that, but that's what it'll do. And you submit each one. If you're done with it, save for later. After you submitted, I'm not sure what the screen goes back to.
I
But
think it
if
just
you,
goes to like done.
but if you've got all of your receipts, you can go ahead and do each one. While we're sitting here, come on. No, you can't.
No, you
can't.
need to add. You need to add up here, that little blue button. Yeah.
Okay, add, and then you can move on to the next one.
Yeah.
See, it takes a village. You'll fill the information in. I can't go on without it. You put your receipt in, your expense item, which of course you've already told it it's lodging, but you have to tell it again. And you have to figure out which best works. Lodging's on there, just not transportation. What did we say
So,
that was?
I think I was on a call yesterday and I think they explained this a little bit. So this expense item tracks to the spend category, which is not necessarily aligned with actual items. It's aligned with some like international unit-based coding system, if that makes sense. So yeah, like there are some things that you would be like, hey, this should be like office supplies, but it's categorized as lab equipment, right? Where because it is a certain type of item, it is categorized by a unit, almost like kingdom phylum, like it works its way down. I mean, that would have been nice to know 8 months ago, but you know.
Right. And then over here, I don't know what her travel days are. Over here, you've got to fill this information in, your destination. I don't know where she's going. Where's she going? This
New York, I
DC?
think, isn't it?
I don't remember. Always remember to click your receipt included. Make sure you put your receipt in. Then you'll hit add again and you'll go on to your next one.
So you might
Or
have
do
any
we wanna
questions
go-
about that one?
All right, how do I get this stuff out of here?
I mean, you could just close it. I think she's gonna have to delete it. I already warned her. It's fine.
Why doesn't a little basket show, a little trash can show up here? That's what I would say.
Yeah.
And it's going to come up and say, final expense report for spend authorization not checked. That's right. And we're not going to check it.
Right. If it says alert, it will still let you submit it. If it says error, you will not be able to submit it. Like you got an error on that logic right now.
Hey, look at this trash can. Yeah, that was, where's the error?
On your lodging.
No, that was the alert.
Nope. Error. It's because
Four errors. Now I have 4 errors in one alert. So I wonder what happens when I hit this trash can. Oh, it's because I didn't fill this stuff
Yeah, it's
in.
because of that. I don't know. Let's find out.
And this is how we do Workday. Hey, look, I got another trash can. Yeah, so if you've messed everything up and you're not sure, just trash it all and start again.
I would hit close.
Okay. Hope we didn't mess up our spend authorization.
Nah, it'll just be in there as a draft. It's fine. She could go in and cancel it.
All right, so where else we going?
I don't know. Do you guys have any questions? You have to have some.
Do you
I have
have
a-
something you,
Sorry, I have a question. Thank you all. This has been really helpful. Based on the 60-day limit,
Uh-huh.
is it okay if we have multiple spend authorizations for the same trip? So if we register for the conference way in advance, we can go ahead and do that and then do the other information as it gets closer?
yes, yes.
No. You cannot have multiple spend authorizations.
Okay,
Oh, spend authorizations,
Yes.
expense reports, but not spend authorization.
You can have multiple expense reports for a single spend authorization. However, you cannot have multiple spend authorizations for a single travel event. So I'm trying to think about this.
So like the payments that we're not making yet, how would I like submit their amounts, like
You
from
still
the
need to-
approximation?
Yes, you still need to make an estimate of how much those are gonna cost and include them in the spend authorization. If you have a maximum amount of money that you know you're going to be permitted to spend, then you would enter your expenses on the spend authorization up to that amount. So
Okay.
Zach, is it that you don't know how much money you're going to have?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
like just you showed that in the screen. Yeah. Kim is showing that is the time and absence, or I don't know, any icon right there at the at the left bottom corner. Yeah, probably probably someone clicked that. Okay, but that is not showing for my Workday, like where I can I can like get the money I'm allowed to spend.
Okay, that's what you were showing, Suzanne. I
Okay.
do not have that. I do not have that.
Try
Oh
dashboard.
yeah, Susan showed that. Yep.
Try what?
Dashboards. Okay, let me see. Scroll down for me. Keep going. I wonder if you can just,
Yeah, I just don't have that. What yours
That's a
was
good
like PI
question.
something?
yeah.
Where did the list came from? Sorry, I looked at another screen.
Can you go up to the top, Kim, and search PI summary?
PI summary. No.
Project input, no, that's not right either. All right, that is a
Yes.
good question. I was unaware that you guys did not have that.
You want to show your screen, Suzanne?
What? Well, I
You
mean,
wanna
it's not
sh-
gonna help because I clearly have more access. Okay, let me think about this. Okay, I keep hitting the wrong crap. Okay. Can you guys all see my screen again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So, all right, I'm gonna show you how to search for your money. So you see this report down here, equity balances, and I run this all the time, so it's not gonna show in your like often recent searches. So if you just type in equity balances into that search bar, it should come up with equity balances by balancing carry forward work tags. Let me know if you see that.
Mm,
And Workday's super specific about like pluralization or something. So honestly, the less information you put in that search bar is almost better. So if you just put in equity balances, you should see this report come up.
Nothing is showing up for me when I'm searching equity balances. So,
Hey, Mike,
now
can
the-
you show your screen?
I'm sorry. I'm joining the meeting from another one, but I can help.
Oh,
Just wait a minute. I can show. Where is that? I can show like with my camera.
sure. Yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine.
Just yeah. Here you go.
Okay.
When I'm searching the equity balances, nothing is showing up.
And you hit enter.
Yeah, I just did.
Weird. Okay.
So I was able to see it when I just searched equity. It
Uh-huh.
popped up, but once I put balances in, it disappeared again. So you might try just putting in equity and see what comes up
Oh.
in the
Yeah,
search.
Okay.
try that.
Oh. Equity. Okay.
So
equity.
weird. Oh, you get so much stuff back. Whew.
If I search equity, nothing is showing about equity balance or anything.
All right. Okay. That's a problem I'll have to figure out how to solve. Okay, so I'm gonna show you my screen real quick,
Okay.
just for future reference. Okay, so these are your search parameters when you are looking for this information. So our organization, I know this off the top of my head, but you can put in geography. Oh, mother. It might actually help you to hit my organizations. I have a lot of stuff in here because evidently I have access to surgery and some things. You shouldn't, neither should I, honestly. There's that. We're gonna do the current period. And the work tags, here's what you want to put in to search for you, because everything's going to be tied to you with the exception of if you're a PI on a grant. So let's put in Zach. Oh, you know what? Let's put in Ahmad. Right? Searching. Oh, mother. Ugh. It is very, very touchy. I don't want to have to distribute out everyone's work tags. That is stupid. Because if I have to do that, then what is the point of this? Oh God, where did I put that? Everybody's money. Also, just ignore me as I talk to myself. Nope. All right. Yes. 7366. It's possible. I may actually have to distribute this out to everyone. Okay, so once you run this report, it's going to show, let's say show everything that's assigned to you. So here is Ahmad's funds that were distributed earlier this month for travel and research. And then once expenses start showing, right, they'll show here. Things are only encumbered through the end of the fiscal year, which is June 30th. So if anything happens after that, you won't see it.
Okay, so I guess the provider of this fund is the geography department.
Correct.
So if my advisor provides some fund, how would I see that? Will I see that here?
No,
Okay.
you will not. Not unless it is directly transferred to you. And more than likely
Okay.
that will not happen. So these are the work tags you're going to need. And this is where you'll see your own work tags, right?
Mhm.
So the cost center, the fund, the program, and your assignee tag.
Mm.
And when you put in the spend authorizations, those all come to me, so I'll double check that everything is. The expense reports, however, do not come to me, so I will not see that.
Okay. So okay, I'm not still sure that how will I proceed if my total expenditure, like for example, I'm going to multiple conferences which will incur cost more than 1,000, and for example, my advisor told me that okay, I'll fund you for the second one. So the total expenditure might be $1,700. So, but here the allowable limit is 1,000. So I need some more amount in these allowable limits,
Well,
which
you won't
should
get
come
it,
from.
right?
Okay.
No. So, okay. So this fund, this $1,000 right here is what the department has provided you upon your entrance to the program. This $1,000 is for the rest of your program. So you and your advisor need to decide when it would be appropriate to use this money. It might not be this year. It might be your final year, right?
Okay.
If your advisor is providing funds, then in your spend authorization, you would only put up expenses to the amount that you are going to be reimbursed. So I believe Harvey said 1,200 for AAG, right? So you would put in expenses up to that $1,200 if you are not using any of this.
If I'm not using any of what?
Any of your $1,000 here on the screen.
Oh, like so I can mention that I'm not going to use that.
Correct.
But okay.
Yeah, like if for AAG, if Harvey is providing the entirety of the money that you will be reimbursed from, you would say, my advisor provided this amount of money, and this is all I will be using for this trip, right?
So will I write that in the?
I would go to Harvey and say, Harvey, where do you want this to come from, right? And
okay.
And then once you submit the spend authorization, I would fill in the work tags for that, and send it on its merry way.
Okay, so will I put the lines in the justification box?
Sure.
Okay.
The justification is for all additional information that would be helpful for someone other than you reading that spend authorization to understand what you're doing.
Okay, I understand.
So more information is always better.
Thank you.
And then I have to figure out how you guys are going to see your money. Does anybody else have any questions? Oh, Zach, we were talking about, okay, so you don't know how much money you're going to have, right?
Yeah, so like in this case, for example, for AGU, I may do the registration here in the next month, but maybe like, for example, so that I would want to do soon so that I'm below that 60-day limit, but some of the other things would be closer to the conference. Like I'm not going to know maybe how much for travel once I get there, like transportation. So should I just estimate that on the
Yeah.
initial spend authorization?
Yes, and if some of this is coming from Steven's grants, I would talk to Steven and see how much
Okay,
he wants to allow for any of these things. Just so you have a working budget.
okay, that sounds good. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Because I assume that most of your stuff is going to come from grants anyway. So he's probably got a set amount already in his head about how much from each grant for what purposes. So it might be helpful, Zach, to just sit down with Steven and be like, hey, this is my plan. You know, how are we paying for this?
Yes, that sounds good. And then maybe the next month I might try a spend authorization to see how it works.
Yeah, no, and that's totally fine. And just keep in mind that I would not assume that everything goes right on your first go, right? So you're gonna get it back for something, either more information or clarification or, hey, I noticed maybe you didn't include this. Is this something you want to include? And sometimes it's like, no, I didn't want to include it. Okay, resubmit. Not a big deal, right? It's kind of a way to double check that everything's right, because once you start expensing on a spend authorization, you can't change it.
Okay, well, that's good. Then we can edit it up front.
Yeah, so like if you submit it and we approve it and you're like, oh crap, I forgot this, you can go in and fix it up until the point that you start expensing on it. Once you
Perfect.
enter an expense report on a spend authorization, you can no longer change it. So I wouldn't think of getting something back as like, oh crap, I did something wrong. This is really just like feeling it out to make sure everybody gets what they need out of it and everything's covered so that we don't run into issues later. Anything else we need to cover, you think? Rebecca, is there anything you want to cover?
I will say that I did drop job aids into the chat. I actually use these myself quite frequently. They're more or less each one of these links, and I also gave the master link for basically any job aid you would need as you kind of progress through Workday. And it basically just gives you a step-by-step of what you need to do to submit a spend authorization, to submit an expense reports, how you edit, add, delete from either of those things. So I really suggest that you go ahead and have a look at some of those actual job aids in there. All you have to do is just scroll down to the bottom. All of the travel job aids are, I think they're listed at the very bottom of that page. So I would suggest that once you start getting into this, to go ahead and just take a look at those. They're really helpful. And in the meantime, feel free to ask if you have any questions, and I'd be more than happy to help. Odds are at this point in time, I'm just going to send you a job aid. That's what I've been doing. Just that way, I don't actually give you the wrong impression, or I don't kind of push you in the wrong way. So definitely check out those job aids. And if you lose the link, let me know. We can find it again.
I am willing to help you guys though, especially doing your first one and you got questions, come to the office with your laptop and I will help walk you through. I will help you. Let's just say that I will help you.
Can I ask a real quick question? Zach, when you went in there, could you see the PI summary?
So I was able to access the equity balances. And so
But not the PI, you don't have an icon.
let me check, let me go back to my home page here. No, so I do have the request travel or purchase, but yeah, so I don't have any of the PI summary showing up on my dashboard,
Okay.
it looks like.
Hey, Rebecca Chapman. Did you happen to see if you could run that equity report? I'm just trying to figure out like who and why. And I'm wondering if it's because Zach is staff and not a graduate student.
I didn't even think of that.
So then I have to figure out how and why. Yep, I'm gonna have to ask some questions. Okay, cool. Thanks for letting me know that you guys can't even access it. Awesome. Does anybody else have any questions? Other questions?
No, from me.
Hey, Ahmad, I know I remember an email going around between you and Harvey before classes started about
Mm-hmm.
something he was funding.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was not AAG, right? It was something else.
Yeah, that was NARS, NARSC. That is a regional science conference in Denver.
Okay, I want to say, I think that 60 days is quickly approaching if you purchased it already.
Yeah, I was just waiting for today's session.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
That's why I was not going rush into it. I'll do that. I'll do that by the next early next week.
Okay. I just
No,
don't want you to miss that 60 days.
So
because
yeah, just 60 day is the from
From
the day
purchase.
from the day purchasing day to
Yep.
submitting the what is that, is spend authorization form. Okay.
Well, yeah, it's from the purchase date. So I would get your spend authorization in first.
Mm-hmm.
Just so that has time to go back and forth, maybe.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I mean final expense line.
Yeah.
Getting final, I understand.
Yep. Okay.
And so okay, and so when I'll be done with the conference, like having all the other expenses like lodging or transportation, then I need to submit those receipts with the expense line just Kim showed. So is there any timeline associated with that, like
It's the 60 days
60 days
from
from
purchase. Yes. So like talk to Kim about airfare, because that has to be done through CTP.
Mhm.
That. And did he say $1,000?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, depending on how much that stuff costs,
Mhm.
you may not have that much left.
Yeah.
So I would talk to him about when it's appropriate to dip into that $1,000 from the department, how much you're willing to take on yourself. So yeah, I would have a conversation with Harvey,
Okay.
just
Okay.
long term, really kind of thinking these things out.
Okay. Sure. Thank you.
But yeah, everything is 60 days from purchase.
Okay, so from I understand, but again, like from purchase to submitting the I mean finally getting the spend authorization, that is the 60 days limit. And what about the expenses that I am not still like paid? I'm not paid
60
yet.
days from the day you purchase it.
Day purchase. Okay, I understand.
So like your hotel, you have 60 days after you check out and they bill your credit card to submit that reimbursement.
Okay, I understand.
if no one has anything else, then I think we're good.
Awesome. Cool. If you guys have any other questions, please feel free to ask Kim, Suzanne, or myself. Take a look at those job aids that I threw in the chat, please. They will be so helpful. Like I mentioned, they help me out every single day I'm doing these things. So awesome. Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.